Oh, no.
Hey, you! Sci-Fi fan! Are you finally ready to have your head explode? Never before seen sci-fi action. A strange new world. Exotic technology. Kick-ass characters. And a story that will turn your mind inside out. Nephilim Squadron, Volume 1. Available now on fundmycomic.com.
Yeah. Used to be Indiegogo.
That's right. And we're back from our commercial break, everybody. Hey. Welcome to the Rex, Hex, and Apex show. Saturday once again. Saturday morning.
Happy Saturday.
All right. How you guys doing?
Okay, yeah. Having my mom's memorial this afternoon. But I did this comic book in 2001, almost 25 years ago. This is based on my mom's alma mater high school of the Coleman Blue Cats. So I created Blue Cat.
Oh, wow.
It's Patsy Lee, the head cheerleader, becomes Blue Cat. And there's an origin story. And it's like a 24-page book I did like a few months. It's like really fast. Yeah, this is.
What did your mom?
Look at.
What did your
and
mom?
there's an ad for Terminator Granny.
What did your mom think about it?
She loved it.
Yeah,
it's great.
So, is that background? Is that a photo? Is that a partial photo?
She loved it.
Like background.
It's good. Yeah.
The
photos of the high school of the Coleman Blue Cats High School. And
okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool that you did that. Yeah,
it's like 24 pages. Add some ads in here. Cool. Yeah.
That's
it's an ad for Terminator Granny, which was never published.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a good tribute from my mom. So I'll be speaking. Yeah. I'm like the last speaker of our brothers, so I'll be showing this off at the memorial.
That's a sweet
fun times. Fun. It's gonna be good. She wants to celebrate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
You can probably DM me on Twitter if you want to buy a copy of this. I only have maybe 20 left.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's cool.
20.
I like that you did the partial photo cover with it, with and you and your mother know what it is, in the background.
Hey,
Henry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Henny. Absolutely.
Henny. Not Henry. Yeah. Henny. I can't read.
Oh, Shadow.
Shadow Hawk.
Henny God.
You today, I believe, at 12.
Yeah.
So
gonna have a book review.
I've been doing all right myself this week. Got to meet my sister for the very first time in nearly 60 years. She knew about me like 35 years ago. Yeah, but I did not know if I had any other siblings or what,
That's incredible.
Around Christmas time, my last living uncle passed away, and he looked a lot like me. But my sister said, you didn't miss much. He was a douchebag, but but she might be a little biased. I don't know. But yeah, she got to meet me, my mother, and we got to pal around and do all those childhood things. Like, well, not all of them. I had a bucket list. She said, "What do you want to do?" And I, we went to the Dollar Tree and looked for Pez socks, which I did find, and she found like some that she liked, and for the grandkids, because she's got a boy and a girl, and grandchildren, and some of them wrestle in high school, and she goes to the meets and stuff. So she tries to be active. She's going to be back up here sometime this summer. I may be working at the time at night, but that really won't conflict with our days. Maybe a little bit of sleep time, but she's worth it. She's going to come up here and meet another half brother that's coming through here, because we got a lot of family here in Jonesboro, right outside, in like Lake City, Monette. She's less than an hour drive away where my sister was born. She was born up here. We got a lot of family up here. Her father passed away here in Jonesboro. And who knows, I might have even met him at one time. Might have passed a cousin or somebody up here and didn't know it,
Yeah. Wow, that's great. You got to see
She
her.
was like, wow, I didn't even know if you were still in Arkansas.
Right.
She had tried to find me, register with DHS and other things, but we, June 30th, I finally saw her thing on Facebook after about 2 weeks, because I don't check into Facebook that often. Said, I'm your half sister. And of course, I was a little skeptical at first, but immediately she started barraging me with all these pictures and family. And I'm, my daughter, that's how her son found me, through ancestry.com and through the DNA test. And he did a family tree and everything. He's got it going way, way back, turns out quite the family history. So,
Jeez.
Very cool.
We had fun. We bought ice cream, but we never got to eat it. So I get the spoils of the war. I had some cherry Garcia the other night, and I've got some black walnut in there, which I was kind of craving, because I haven't had black walnut in a while.
Black walnut.
Yeah. My father liked it, so maybe that's why. You like that, like pecan, butter pecan. I like that. I can find that, but black walnut's hard to find. So we went to Kroger, which has everything. They've got like Yarnell's is from Arkansas. Bluebell is from Arkansas. So we've got more than one big ice cream place. So the Ben and Jerry's is not from Arkansas, but I did eat that cherry Garcia. I'd never had it before. When I lifted the lid and saw the chocolate chips, I was like, oh, it's got chocolate in there. Chocolate cherry, of course. I did not know that at the time. It was good.
Yeah, it's a popular flavor.
I got like a half gallon of what I wanted. She got this little bit.
You eat half
Pick the size you want, and I picked the bigger size. It's like, I want to smang on this a while. I don't eat much ice cream. As a kid, I was hyperactive. Imagine that. And I would eat a lot of sugar, eat a lot of whatever candy
on the walls
and ice cream. It tastes good. I had it in my mouth, Somebody clipped that.
Here we go. This is for you, Rex.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I've a message for you from Birdseye. Birdseye faggots will appeal to your whole family. They've made them with lashings of gravy, but they've gone easy on the spice because kids don't like them too spicy, apparently. Birdseye even suggests that people who don't like faggots could enjoy these. They live in hope. They could be right.
What is a faggot? What is a faggot?
Oh, well, you know what?
It was a cigarette in England. That's what I thought.
Maybe our guest might have an idea. What
Yeah.
He probably won't. But not that I'm not saying he is, but no.
No.
No. That was for you, Rex. Anyway, we're
look like mushrooms, actually.
Yeah.
Mushrooms and gravy.
Everybody. Elvis is in the building.
Smelling everything. No, it's great to see you guys again.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And I think we're meeting for the first time. Hey.
Yeah, nice to meet you. It's our first time.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure we've interacted on Twitter once or twice.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I love your posts.
We are the dice with the spice. How's it going, Tom?
Hey, what I'm going to post every short story Raymond Carver ever wrote, but I'm going to do it with pictures of coffee. It'll be a big, big hit on Twitter.
Now you're in a different setting today, different background.
It's the same room. There's just more ambient light because it's noon.
Oh, really? Okay. I see the fan running there. I guess, is it warm there?
You can't see the warm, hot glow of my orange mushroom lamp, which you usually can during night streams.
Yeah.
But too much
you struck me as the type that would have a lava lamp somewhere.
Well, I thought that would be too on the nose. I'm trying to go a real Art Deco kind of look.
I know. You're in the witness protection program. I got it. Yeah.
Now I got to go to the grocery store just like every other schnook.
Hey, I like going to the grocery store. You meet some interesting people.
I need to.
Yeah. I just hate the prices anymore. I'm like, God, $6 for eggs.
Yikes!
And I don't eat that many eggs, but it'd be nice to be able to afford them.
Yeah.
You know who loved eggs? Edith Massey from those old John Waters movies.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. She was she even played in Pink Flamingo. She played the egg lady.
Okay. Oh, God, I haven't seen that in years.
Baltimore guys got to stick together.
So you've been making the rounds?
Well, yeah, I've been on a bunch of shows. It's been really great. It's you just it's hard to put into words the feelings you get as a first time creator and receiving this kind of reaction and embrace from the community. It's been I know now what they mean when they say it's humbling. It really is. It's a great feeling.
And you wait till you get that book in your hands and go, I did this.
Right.
I and my team did this. And it's just to hold it in your hands and go, wow, I made a concept of reality,
Reality,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited about your book because I love when there's a good Western comic coming out.
He's not anymore.
Yeah. What?
Well, I'll set enthusiasm even further.
But what I'm trying to get to is that I wanted to commemorate your appearance with a cowboy hat, but I only have this floppy old prospector's hat.
That still works.
It looks really silly on me.
There is gold in Dunbar Hill.
Damn hills.
I look more like Chuck Berry. Chuck Barris. Not Chuck Berry.
Chuck Barris.
You look like you're going to Woodstock.
Chuck Berry as Chuck Barris.
I got to see Chuck a couple times. He's actually pretty nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got this thing.
A lot of confessions from dangerous minds on this show.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was up on stage at like age 83, just still doing it.
Oh, that's great.
Wow. And then this one, this is my.
Oh God, no.
This one I stole from
to a Reagan rally.
I stole this from Mange Davis.
Mange.
I'm Black Mange.
Mange on the range.
Shane wasn't very impressed, but
was he? They stole my shtick, man.
But with that, let's check out the trailer for Tom's
let's do it.
Debut Western horror comic.
You may have never seen it before.
7 AMENS.
Yeah, right.
7 AMENS before sundown. Here we go. Oh, where is it?
How about that?
I dig it. So good.
How about that? I got to give a shout out to Christian Rossi for the images that made up that trailer. Christian is my interior artist, and I said the other day that he's given me a world even better than the one I imagined. Because for me, Half a Rock Hill is like a dream to you guys. I mean, when you have a dream, you don't remember the entire dream linearly. You remember little fragments from it, and that's how Half a Rock Hill was. I always saw Brawley Bridge, I always saw the mine, but everything else was kind of hazy and dreamlike because this was where the story takes place. And Christian has given me a world. Now I know exactly what the general store looks like in Half a Rock Hill, for example. And I also have to give a shout out to the amazing Von Klaus for that trailer. He took Christian's images. He went exactly for them. I told him I'm looking for something Grindhouse, and his response was, oh yeah, we can give you Grindhouse. And I mean that in what is it, 1 minute and 1 second, you know everything you need to know about the mood of the piece, you know everything you need to know about the basic arc. It's one guy in, can I curse? I don't want to curse if I can't curse.
Oh, go ahead.
No?
This is my channel.
Oh, it's one guy in way the F over his head. And actually not only being over his head, but having no idea until it's way too late how far over his head he is.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
man, like an intense vampiric western.
But yeah, it's been an amazing response by the community. It really has just been humbling and gratifying. What we've got here, it's a very bare bones campaign because it's my first time, so I didn't want to get into anything complicated like extras and stretch goals and add-ons. And it's a 3-tier project. The first tier, you can see here, is the full color, what we call the Grindhouse edition, with an amazing 1968, 1969 horror movie poster cover from the great Graham Nolan.
Yeah.
On the nose.
Oh,
Who did your animation, Tom?
That was the trailer was Von Klaus, and he knocked it right out of the park.
That's right. That's right. You had said that.
So the book is 48 pages, 44 pages of story, and then a 4-page art gallery in the back that also serves sort of a dual purpose of being an art gallery and giving a preview of coming attractions. And then we have the black and white line art, what we call the Till Death Do Us Part edition. It's the same book, just in black and white line art, and that features a cover by our own Peter Gilmore, in loving tribute to the great 1973 cop movie Freebie and the Bean.
James Caan and Alan Arkin. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And if you had to...
full disclosure here, Kristen Rossi is like in my top 3 favorite independent artists, man. He's incredible.
He's great.
He's absolutely amazing, and like just the very first images I got back from him were just so. That's where the idea for 2 versions came from, because when I first got those inked pages back from him, I'm like, I got to do this as line art. And then he reminded me that we wanted to go like washed out sepia tones for the Grindhouse aspect. And so going back and forth with Christian, I finally said what I do every time I'm forced to make a choice. Well, can we do both? And
that's always a yes. That's always, I'm answering for you.
Go. Never choose.
If you look at one influence that led you up to this point, what would you say it is?
I mean, the thing that got the whole I can't talk. The thing that got the whole ball rolling back in 1994 was Quentin Tarantino, because the first time I saw Pulp Fiction was really where I got the idea that there didn't have to be any limits.
Yeah,
you want to tell a story where the end is at the beginning and the middle is in the end. Go for it. If you can pull it off, go for it. You want to tell, a story that is, like an anthology story where they all kind of like cross over and intertwine with each other. If you can pull it off, go for it. There's no limits other than what you can imagine, and that's kind of what ignited the spark for me back in 1994. And that's where the script was first birthed, or at least the plotting of it.
You do have to drop some breadcrumbs so that people don't get confused and lost, though, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, you mean in storytelling?
Yeah, and storytelling, when you
absolutely.
mix it up so much like that.
I have no problem with mystery. Okay, there is there's something that I tease through here where by the end the audience will know more than my main character, because there's something that I'm teasing for a big reveal for the main character in the second book, but the audience is going to have a general idea of what that secret is. But you're exactly right. You have to leave them the crumbs to let them know, hey, I think there's something in that door over there, and I can't open it right now, but the crumbs lead me to believe that I want to see what's in that room.
That's a good feeling when you kind of placate to the audience there, and they know more than some of the characters. I think that's a good feeling.
That's going to be on display in this story.
Mm-hmm. I know I enjoy that when I read a book, and I kind of know ahead of time. Some things, if it's not spoilers, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good feeling when you're like, yeah, I'm up on this. I know what's going on. I know more than the character does.
It's not a bad thing to have the audience, like Hitchcock once said. You know, Hitchcock was explaining the difference between suspense and surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so imagine you and I are the scene is you and I at a restaurant table. Okay, and unbeknownst to us, there's a bomb under the table. Okay, now if you don't tell the audience there's a bomb under the table, and the audience knows exactly what we know, and when the bomb goes off, the audience is surprised for what, 2 seconds?
Yeah.
But if you let the audience know the bomb's under the table, but you and I don't,
then it creates.
And now the audience is in suspense for what, 3-4 minutes while they're saying, "What are you guys doing? Don't keep talking. There's a bomb under the friggin' table."
Yeah. Your survival instincts kind of kick in at that point, don't they? Even though your life isn't in danger, you know, as a viewer.
Well, right. And Hitchcock was all about that. Hitchcock was about like playing the audience like an instrument, you know, and I guess Spielberg would be the heir to that. And I try to do this a little bit here where it's like a concerto where, you know, it's got the build up, things don't feel right, things feel ominous, they get more and more ominous, boom, you know, there's your crescendo, it's hit, and now we have to.
Would you say you're with the main character ramping up the tension as you go along?
I would say yeah. I would say yeah, because again, he doesn't know all he knows is this town doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And he learns as we learn, although we kind of know, because I don't know why I tried to get coy on the Fund My Comic page about, oh, this is the town, it's got a secret. The secret is they're vampires, and everyone knows it now.
Yeah, you can see the cover and know that pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he even the very premise of the book is him discovering something that we already all know.
Yeah. He's kind of got a Solomon Kane look to him with that hat.
Someone else said that.
Does.
Someone else said that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Christian Rossi did the Ed Gein Demon Hunter book.
Yes, I remember that.
Brilliant thing. Lucifer Storm, yeah.
I got turned on to Christian, I think it was Void Walker, the Alterna book.
Oh, he did that, didn't he? Yeah, I think I have the first issue of that one.
Do you know how much sort of research he did for this? Or
I do not know.
Yeah, because it's kind of set in a fictitious town, isn't it?
Yeah, there is no Half a Rock Hill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or in the world of the story, Half a Rock Hill isn't on any map. And so we live in a real world where Half a Rock Hill isn't on any map. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there is a Half a Rock Hill.
And maybe it's there, but it's cloaked, right?
Like
we are
Brigadoon.
dealing with vampires.
Yeah. Cloaked and cloaked.
I'm not giving you any more story ideas, Ted.
Well, it's already written. We're 3 pages from the end.
It's like Shambhala. Shambhala for vampires.
Yeah, or Shangri-La. Yeah,
these will all be fished to the mill for the second book.
Uh-huh. Do you see yourself? I mean, I always say continue with a successful IP. At least do a second to see if it does as well or better than the first. And again, build, right? But now, do you see yourself branching off and telling other types, or sticking with this for a while, or what?
Well, the second book is practically already written.
Right.
So the second book's already completely formed in my head. And then I have like the basic concept for where the third book would go.
Okay. So going to pretty much stick with this and expand upon
until I finish kind of the story that I'm setting out to tell. I'll probably stick with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Was there any reticence from Peter to do you a cover? I know he's done vampire stuff before, and some artists get tired of doing certain things, you know.
No, Peter's been terrific. I do a show with Peter on Fridays. We do Friday Night Frights. It's me and Peter, Pete Cowan, Sick, and Harry Talbot. So, well, I guess I should put it in time frame. We weren't doing the show then, but he's always been terrific. You know,
yeah, that's cool.
He's all about horror too.
He's all about horror.
Yeah, he is.
Uh-huh. I think that's kind of his bent.
Tom, when did you how did you get into this thing of ours? This passion for comics. Like when did it start for you? And
Well, for me, I mean, remember that I'm like 112 years old, so for me, it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
all the way back to the bicentennial. The first comic I can remember reading is back when DC had those DC celebrates the bicentennial red, white, and blue banners across the top of every book.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I think chronologically, now I'm not one of those guys who can spit out issue numbers to you, but chronologically, the first comic I remember holding in my hand was a 2-issue arc of Detective Comics. It was Batman versus the Black Spider.
Oh yeah.
Remember him? He was kind of like a Spider-Man knockoff. That was
That was
I don't know if he was a
280.
villain or he was an anti-hero, but he was an adversary to Batman.
Yeah, if you're a true nerd, you'll know the issue.
I think I have one of those issues.
Yeah.
That's the first one I remember holding in my hand. Probably the first comics I remember reading were Legion of Superheroes, circa 1980.
Yeah.
This would have been right around the time that's because the title of the book was Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, and I think it was 259. Superboy went off to do the Schaffenberger book, and it was just Legion of Superheroes. That's the era of the transition from Superboy and the Legion to Legion, where I was like 10 years old and eating cheese balls and reading comics.
Keith Giffen doing the artwork on some of those.
Giffen did do the art. Now that would have been a couple years later. 80 is where I kind of jumped on. I think Giffen came on like around 83.
Yeah, Dave Hunt was really good.
Mike Grell.
Mike Grell,
definitely,
Mike Grell. I can't imagine
Dave
my
Cocker.
childhood without imagining Mike Grell, because Mike Grell drew my childhood.
Yeah, you really smanged on some Mike Grell, huh?
Yeah, but it was comics ever since.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I just wanted big, bright adventures, and that's what I got. I was mostly, everyone kind of groans when they say this, I was mostly a DC guy with a smattering of Marvel. And then when I hit high school is when the crisis happened and comics got slightly more adult, not as adult as they would later become, but slightly more adult in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Mike Barron's doing the Flash, and he's putting some limits on how fast the Flash can go. Right? I think Wally could only go at the speed of sound at the time.
Oh, Dark Knight and Watchmen. Also.
Say it again.
Dark Knight and the Watchmen.
Oh yeah, man. Now imagine being 15 and then those titles, Dark Knight, The Watchmen, and then Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing. Imagine those three things hitting the 7-Eleven spinner rack. You know what I mean?
We had it so good.
Blew my mind.
Did you ever get any of the 7-Eleven Slurpee Hero cups?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Wonder Woman somewhere. I think my sister made off with it.
Yeah. Damn sisters.
Got it.
Who joined us? Did someone join us?
I just wanted to quickly show off this comic haul before Apex has to go.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordon. Oh, Apex, you leaving early today?
Yeah. I've got my mom's memorial later on this afternoon.
Today.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been checking out the West Coast Avengers.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Cool.
It's not
Is that
bad.
Busiek's name I saw?
No.
Who's the writer?
Was Brian Duggan?
Okay.
All right.
Dugan.
Jerry Dugan?
I think maybe Jerry Dugan.
Yeah, Jerry. Brian.
He did some Deadpool.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Jerry Dugan. Yeah.
Is that a new issue, or is that I noticed it looks like is that
new,
a new
right?
one?
The latest issue is this one, number 5.
Okay.
And
That's not bad.
yeah, this lineup features a character who was called Blue Bolt, who was invented by Roy Thomas.
Yeah.
Right.
But Roy had some dealings with Marvel and got them to change the characters from this book's name to from Blue Bolt to something else. So this is like the last. One of these is like the last issues where he's been called Blue Bolt. It's pretty interesting. And they're like, and the dialogue is like, well, that name was temporary anyway.
What's in a name?
Yeah.
Hey, Gordon, good brother.
Gordon, good brother.
Yeah.
Where? You talking to me?
Oh, is that out? Is Vatican City out?
Vatican City is out. Yeah,
I want to check that out. I want to check that out.
Came out Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, it's very good. It's Mark Miller and Herberg, aka Narwhal. The story's pretty taut and intense. Narwhal's art has improved quite a bit.
I'm taut.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Well, when you go big time, you got to.
Yeah, Mark Miller. Dang.
Yeah, you better step up.
Yeah.
And this is a surprise. This is Batman Full Moon.
Book 4.
Yeah, this is a 4-issue limited series. This is the last issue, and I was duly impressed by the ending. It's very good, except for there was a couple of glaring editing mistakes in the first or second issue. But yeah, this is good. I highly recommend it, though.
That is Black Label. I thought I saw the.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Who's the artist on that one?
It is. Some unpronounceable. Stubik.
Okay.
I don't want to take it out right now, but
Tom, do you buy anything at your local comic book shop?
My local shop closed, so I'm primarily getting stuff through the internet.
Oh, that's too bad.
That sucks.
That's a cool cover.
It is. Dust to Dust from J.G. Jones and Phil Bram. This has quickly become my favorite new comic, and it's published through Image, and it's it presents itself as a Western because of the aesthetic, but it takes place in Oklahoma in the Dust Bowl in the 30s, and it's a murder mystery in this small town, and with hints of supernatural stuff going on. I'm not sure. It's not obvious, but there are like hints of something weird and paranormal might be going on. But yeah, I highly recommend this too. Dust to Dust. This is issue 3.
And how would you characterize that book? Is it a Western? Is it a what? What is it?
I would say it's in the 1930s, so it's not exactly a turn of the century, but it's in that era in Oklahoma during the Dust Bowls. It's like they were still living on the turn of the century. But I would say a murder mystery. So far, the first 3 issues.
That's cool.
With hints of supernatural.
Edwin the Ace has Edwin the Ace has a book in the stands, huh?
No, this is my crowdfunded stuff now.
Okay.
The Ace Volume 3.
Sweet. I like the cover.
Yeah, very good. It's moves along, and our gang gets into brand new adventures. And,
I've always loved groups. I like that he started out with a single character, but then drew the other characters that came along later into a group. I love group books.
Yeah. And there's good character interactions here too, and more of Angelique.
Yeah, that's great.
I like that. And yeah, thanks, Edwin. That's very nice. And this, I was shocked. I was surprised. This is so good. Reaper Destroyer from Joe M. Sontag.
That's great.
Fine first outing. I don't know. I guess this is his first book, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's his first one.
And this is the Dale Keown cover.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I was really
I did
impressed with this also.
Yeah. I did an unboxing live stream last week on that one. It's fun.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And that's it for the Hex Allen Hall.
Woo!
Oh wait, where is everybody? Where is everybody?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's go back to.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the host now. Welcome to my show, everybody.
Yeah.
Where's Peter?
It's Peter Gilmore.
There's some of his work anyway.
Yeah, man.
And we've got as I said, a 4-page art gallery in the book that will feature Peter, Dan Lawless, and Bacillus Lolos. So,
nice.
Wild man.
I'm smart enough not to just use Peter for one thing. And Peter, not only is he an amazing artist, but his style feeds right into the mood that I'm trying to create for this cover and for the interior piece.
Tom, if a person wanted to do a book like this on their own, what advice would you give them?
The best advice I can give anyone, because it's the advice that was given to me, is you have the best asset in the world right at your fingertips. And by that, I mean this community that we're all in. If you reach out to someone and you're not an asshole, or I should say an a-hole, if you reach out to someone, you're not an a-hole, and you reach out to them long before you think you're going to need them. I would say 99% of the people you run into are going to either be eager to help you, like if you're looking for an artist or a writer or an editor or whatever you're looking for, people will be willing to help you. And if all you're looking for is some tips and some advice, people in the community will be willing to help you there too. So
with that said, your main cover is done by someone who's very choosy about what he's doing because he's got his own thing going, right?
Oh yeah. I reached out to Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I think I first reached out to Graham like a year and a half, before we finally got to the point where he's like, okay, we'll, not that we were like haggling for a year and a half, but I just sort of planted the seed way back in like 2023, and then circled back around to him and said, so what do you think? And I think I can, I don't like, saying what someone else told me, but I think I can say this because he said it, I think himself on Kings. He said, okay, let me hear your pitch. And I gave him the pitch, and there's like a pause, and he said, okay, I'm in.
There you go. So who's your colorist? Gordon was.
It's also Christian. Christian was one-stop shopping.
Oh,
he did pencils, inks, zipatones, which I didn't even know what zipatones were at the time, and he did the colors.
Damn it! Oh, sure.
So yeah,
we're not all nerds.
It's been a dream come true for me.
That's great.
He really has.
Yeah. What's been the best thing about it? Just seeing your dream come to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that have been just magical about this process that I hardly know how to separate them. I mean, seeing what has been living in my head for 30 plus years on a page is indescribable. It's the longest pregnancy in human history.
But now, how close is that to really what you had in your head?
Better. It's better than what I had in my head.
Did you just give him free rein, or did you do
this image right here? The image you see on your screen right now, where Bain, my guy's name is Sawyer Bain. Bain realizes there's something really messed up about this town because the sun just went down and boom, like mushrooms, they all pop out of the doorways. And in my head, when I imagined the scene, I saw it through Bain's POV. So I'm putting myself in his head as I'm writing. And so I saw from his POV just looking back up the street and just person. Christian had the idea of go back a little bit so you can see the whole, like all you can see three sides of what Bain is seeing, and
the build up, huh?
They're all around him. They're coming out of the rooftops. They're coming out of the second floor windows. They're everywhere. He is in way over his head.
So when did you decide to pull the trigger on this project?
What made me decide?
Well, when was it? The crowdfunding?
It was fall of 23. The story I tell is that my first idea way back in the 90s was to make some kind of like art house movie, maybe like From Dusk Till Dawn, but before this was 2 years before From Dusk Till Dawn came out. So I was inspired by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith made Clerks for whatever it was, $15,000.
Right.
So I was like, this would make a great movie. And then time passed, and you realize I'm just some poor country lawyer, and I don't know anything about making a movie. And then 10 years later, I'm at a party, and a buddy of mine comes up to me and says, "Nah, man, cinema is dead, bro. You want to be making no movie. The future is video games, man." I was like, yeah, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. But then it only took like half a week for me to say, hey, Fatso, what do you know about making a video game? So, it all just kind of like got on pause until it was the fall of 2023. I'm watching one of Ethan's streams, and it's him and Narwhal, and they're talking about the creative process and where ideas come from, and I am not the potter nor the potter's clay, but the potter's wheel kind of thing. And his voice in my head said, you don't know anything about making a movie. You don't know anything about making a video game, but after 8 years of watching live streams, you probably know a little bit about making a comic book. And because of the nature of the community, what you don't know, you can ask somebody. And that was essentially the birth of this project.
Okay.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and I've never looked back because I have, and I don't want to jinx it. No jinxing. But I haven't had one bad moment this entire time. It's been lit. I would say
just give it time, Tom.
Yeah, give it time. It's like a marriage. Give it time. It'll sour.
There seems to be almost a Batman element.
Oh crap! I was muted again.
I guess it's the shadowing and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything at night is gonna suggest Batman, or not, if not Batman, at least nocturnal comics.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Does your character figure out garlic? Using garlic? Is that
You know what? I don't give a whole lot of spoilers, but I will spoil that. Garlic does not appear in this book.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Oh, so no.
Not everything else does, but not garlic.
You're missing out on a good scratch and sniff opportunity there.
That would have been a good skull, right?
Probably a second issue.
I could put Harley Quinn in the book, and she could bitch about the garlic bread for the whole book.
Tom, give me your 5 best westerns and your 5 best vampire movies.
Oh shit! 5 best vampire westerns or vampires?
If you want to combine them, sure.
I also say vampires period because there's not a whole lot of cross. Best westerns. You asked me this last time. I think I said obviously Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is number 1, and you can clearly see the Leone influence in my work here.
Absolutely.
I would also say The Searchers because it's so unforgiving right up till the end when it finds grace.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a miracle.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest characters he ever played, really.
Oh yeah,
Very
I like
hard.
High Noon just because of the structure, because of the way it's told. Kind of drew me in the immediacy of it. I'm going to say Rio Bravo. Graham does not like Rio Bravo. He and I are clearly separated by denominational differences on Rio Bravo. I think everything about Rio Bravo
about movies.
Yeah, Rio Bravo is just the interplay between those 3 guys.
Yeah.
Is just absolute magic. I guess I have to say Unforgiven, only because a lot of people have compared at least the early, the premise of this story's.
I can't believe you left out Once Upon a Time in the West. That's
believe me, and not by
or True Grit,
not by intent. All those are great movies, but when you're limiting yourself to 5, you kind of have to.
How about vampire movies? How about
vampire? I'm going to
Dust to Dawn kind of comes to mind.
From Dusk Till Dawn is clearly an influence. I'm going to have to say 1931, Todd Browning, Bela Lugosi, because that's probably one of my favorite movies, period, of all time. I could watch Dracula, the 1931 Dracula, over and over and over again.
Nosferatu, maybe?
I do like Nosferatu. I like Dracula better. I like to watch. In conjunction, I like to watch the Lugosi and the Spanish version in conjunction because they are very different in terms of lyricism and in terms of tone.
My only thing with that is the lead actor. I just don't think
the Dracula character.
Yeah, I mean, it meant they were trying to outdo each other, right?
Probably.
One was shot during the day and one at night,
right?
But the lead actor just doesn't quite catch it for me.
Yeah, for me, it's all about Renfield, and the guy they had playing Renfield in the Spanish version was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Dwight Fry. Dwight Fry is Dwight Fry.
Absolutely.
But the guy in the Spanish version was really good. Right. Exactly.
Eating flies.
Yeah.
Okay, more Dracula. I mean, more vampire.
More vampire. I also really like Near Dark.
I thought that's great. I like that one.
Yeah.
Early Bill Paxton movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the concept behind 30 Days of Night, and that's kind of a thematic influence in this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
I thought that was genius, you know, to go up in Alaska and tell a story like that, you know.
Yeah. And then just to round out the 5, and I'll pick this just out of nostalgia because I was like 8 years old when I saw it. Salem's Lot, the TV version.
Oh,
yeah, for TV that was
David Soul.
Yeah,
David Soul.
Good.
David Soul, yeah.
The great James Mason as well.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I have worked my entire life to develop a good James Mason imitation.
James Mason.
At 55 years in, and I still can't do a James. I can do Cary Grant. I can do John Wayne. I can do all the easy ones. I would get so many women if I could do a James Mason.
Everything Cranston Guildenstern. Yeah, he played the Desert Fox. I remember that.
Oh,
yeah. North by Northwest.
Well, North by Northwest is
the
quintessential James Mason.
Yeah.
By your very acting, you make this very room a theater. You see what it sounds like when I try to do James Mason?
Yeah.
It absolutely sucks. I sound like a fat guy trying to do James Mason.
Yeah, I went Limp Bizkit on that.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah,
Kirk Douglas in that movie.
Kirk Douglas and Pierre Lorre. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're doing a thing. I just saw a trailer yesterday. A new thing. I think it's AMC. They called Nautilus. So
okay.
I don't know if it's going to be any good.
Well, I stole a line from Kirk Douglas for like my Twitter advertising for this book because I keep coming back to that song. I've got a whale of a tale to tell you, lads.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally ripped off from Kirk Douglas's song in 20,000 Leagues.
He's a low-down horse thief, and we're going to hang him.
That's it. Guilty as charged. What did they say? Good writers borrow, great writers steal.
Yeah.
What do you think about Blazing Saddles? Just while we're
I love Blazing Saddles. Everybody loves Blazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody of our generation loves Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's in my top 3.
Is there any comedy in here?
It's not a comedy, but there is a sprinkling of moments where I'm kind of letting the audience know it's okay to laugh. There are. It's a smattering because it's not. It doesn't have a comedic tone at all. But there are a couple. Just the human element. You know, even bad guys are still dumbasses from time to time.
Yeah,
you know,
Out Loud Josie Wales, another good one.
Yeah. So even bad guys can be S's, and you will see that on display here.
And Magnificent Seven, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Wild Bunch.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. So I like the Cowboys with John Wayne and Dern. You know.
Oh, let's
a few times
this
when
page
John
here.
Wayne
Palance Dracula for the first time this year. I had never seen the Palance version.
Oh man, you got to see his Jekyll and Hyde that he did.
Oh, I've seen that.
Have you? Okay. Yeah, Dan.
I found like the Palance Dracula like way deep down in the fever.
Yeah.
Tubi. It was like Tubi within Tubi within Tubi.
Dan Curtis that did Dark Shadows and Kolchak did those, and just what a horror, you know, bringing. I mean, he brought the epic in the late 70s and 80s to TV. He really was a TV innovator, really.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tom, you got the Hex Island hump, Tom.
Oh,
I just refreshed.
Really?
Can we get him to 150 backers today before the end of the stream?
Oh,
that'd be great. That'd be great.
Come on, y'all.
I'm thrilled with 149. I mean, it's astonishing to me to think there are 149 people out there who are interested in reading something that little old me created. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
That's great.
Do you have a bucket list of artists that you want to work with in the future, at least for covers?
Oh gosh, I can't call it a bucket list because it would be too long. It would almost be like going down the whole roster. I mean, you know, there's a 2, 3, 4 dozen people that I would
like a wishing well list.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But I would say everyone that I've worked with on this so far has just been so friendly, so gracious, and have turned in work that has literally made me cry. When I saw Vaughn's trailer, I was coming out of my car and I saw I got some notification. I don't remember what platform it was. And okay, the trailer's in. And I just kind of hit the button as I'm walking up the walk to my house. And I stood there like a friggin' deranged hobo in my front yard, just staring at my phone, and like I'm almost like getting choked up. I'm like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. You know,
it's nothing quite like it.
So sweet, yeah, that's great.
What age group is this for?
I would say
7-year-olds.
Yeah, well, I would say like I'm going from my generation, so I would say from my generation like 13 and up.
Okay.
I don't know how that would translate into 2025 social strata, but when I was growing up, this would have been good for 13 and up.
Don't you think kids are more sophisticated, or are they
much more
so dumbed down?
Yeah,
much more sophisticated.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, we were happy with rocks and sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
We used our imagination. Now
and
it's all about social media and
get out of each other with rocks and sticks.
You guys, you don't know about the Great Dirt Wars of Inglewood in 1979, do you? We used to have like a dirt rock wars,
Well, I lived out in the country, on the family estate, and we had like 73 acres behind us. That was my backyard with cows on it.
I don't know if this is a generational thing, but so many of our games in the 70s revolved around beating the shit out of each other for fun. It was like Fight Club for
coming up and frogging your arm and saying, "Hey, I didn't mean it."
Or this thing, if they look through the hole that you make, you get to do a cross on their arm and then punch them in the shoulder.
Yeah. One guy grabbed me like this from behind and slung me down and gave me a concussion.
Oh
man, yeah.
Ouch.
Hard baked earth there in the summer. Not a good thing, I went into a seizure and saw double the rest of the day.
Holy mackerel.
That's
crazy.
Had an abrasion from my temple all the way down to my jawline.
It sounds like my wedding night.
Yeah, I know, right? It must have been good then. Yeah.
I don't want to put a value judgment
America.
on it. Right. Yeah. You think the ladies will like this?
Do I think ladies will like this?
Yeah, you think the ladies will like this?
Well, I sold it to Katie and Mandy by saying that, as you can see, above all, it is a love story. The only caveat I would give is that love stories aren't always nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, look at me. I've co-opted Gordon Goodbrother's head.
A tagline I came up with a week or so ago is, what if you were the worst thing ever to happen to the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah, there you go. Now, if you got the ball rolling now, almost like an avalanche, do you see this as feeding your creativity and your ideals now more than ever?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is definitely my creativity hasn't had a real chance to go out and take a walk for a long time because it's just not part of my career. So this has been a great outlet for that, and it has kind of reignited the spark. In the early 90s, I probably started about 75 different scripts that got 10 pages into them and just went by the back burner, and I haven't really been creative like that since until now. Obviously, I'm having a lot of great ideas for where this story can ultimately go.
So you're still practicing law, aren't you, Tom?
That's correct.
Uh-huh. And what brand of law do you?
Well, I can't get into my work too much. I'll just say it's in the neighborhood of family law.
Family law. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're kind of like a doctor, cannot disclose. Got it. Yeah.
It's been almost an hour.
Corporate
it's been almost
I didn't know.
I need a good trademark lawyer. It's been almost an hour since we played the trailer, and we've got 47 people watching. So
holy mackerel, play it!
Wow.
Yeah, let's
Oh my
expose.
You love me.
Do
You
it.
really love me.
47.
Expose everyone to
You
this.
really love me.
He's a low-down horse thief, and we're gonna hang him.
So if somebody said, "Hey, let's make this into a movie or a TV series," you'd probably be all game for it, as long as you had creative control.
As long as I'm getting paid in this hypothetical situation, then sure, I'm all in favor of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I like when the shadow, but it is blood. You know, we keep turning back to the blood, going across the lawn. You know, but it's blood red, the shadow.
Yeah, this page gets a lot of commentary on Christian's use of shadow, particularly the tavern scene at the bottom of the page. Everyone just can't help but be struck by the shadow work there.
So are you drawing from like some of the best elements of the Westerns that you like in this and kind of cobbling?
Well,
it
I mean,
together?
you know, we are all, as human beings, you know, our heads are like deranged liquid computers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so every piece of input that's ever, you know, come our way over the course of our lives, it's all up there in the stew,
stored in there somewhere.
And you may be evoking something intentionally, or you may just have some kind of like subconscious reaction to it there that you don't remember the thing, but you remember the sensory memory.
Yeah, and you're trying to
that's in a big jumbled mess. So yeah, I would say, you know, there's probably 100,000 influences in this of things that I've just, you know, picked up or absorbed over the years.
Yeah. I'm really taken aback. I created my first Western character, and that just now starting to develop her somewhat a couple of years ago. But I'm really taken aback about the Westerns that are coming out now, that people, they all seem to be embracing the Western comic book again, like never before.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
Well, and I think what's attractive to it, if you're a creator, is it's this completely blank canvas, just like a zombie apocalypse movie. And I think the reason is for both the same, that in both a Western and a zombie apocalypse movie, society doesn't exist. You've either got to create it like they do in a Western, or you've got to reinvent it like they do in a zombie movie. But either way, you're seeing society get invented or reinvented at the same time as the narrative of the story. And so that gives you, you know, whatever you can dream, you can put in a Western or an apocalypse movie, because you've got a completely blank canvas to paint on. You don't have you don't have any societal rules you have to follow. You can invent your own.
Yeah.
For sure.
Where does the spaghetti Western kind of rank up in your?
Well, like I said, there's a clear Leone influence in my book here. I mean, I think what I liked about the spaghetti Westerns is they kind of exemplified what I just said about the no limits to your imagination, because, you know, traditional Westerns, there are rules, there are tropes, there are, you know, structure that every Western up until the spaghetti Westerns kind of followed, or if they didn't if they deviated from, they had a reason for it.
Yeah.
Like Sergio Leone with the spaghetti Western said, screw all that.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have like the TV censors like we did in America.
Also true. Also true.
Have you guys seen El Topo? El Topo from Alejandro Jodorowsky.
I have not.
That's
I've
oh
seen
my god.
Jodorowsky, but I haven't seen that movie.
Oh yeah, that's his version of a western. And if
Okay.
you've seen any other movie of his, you know he's got his stank all over it. And
It's very unique perspective.
Oh my god, it's and you know it's like many of his work, it's like a spiritual journey sort of thing, and self revelation. It's super violent, really weird. There's like, you know, armless midgets, you know, I don't know. It's like crazy
That
shit,
sounds like
you
a
know?
Jodorowsky Western.
Oh my god.
You know, if I had to equate that to a writer, I would think like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just totally wow, you know,
sure.
out there. Douglas Adams, you know, like no other writer up to that
Just
time.
truly irreverent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like a Monty Python thrown in there,
Yeah.
or you know.
Oh, here we go, Gordon. Do you guys have a favorite Western comic? And one of mine is Blueberry. We haven't mentioned Blueberry at all today.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Mobius. I mean, wow, it's amazing what he did with that. A lot of those
Yeah.
printings, though, I don't like the coloring. Some of the coloring's excellent, some it's not. You know,
Well, this will win me
Good
fans
one.
with the stream. I'm a big Jonah Hex fan.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Oh,
read that
oh,
type
Jonah.
of stuff growing up? Did you
Oh, yeah.
read like Tomb of Dracula from Marvel? Because you were
Oh,
mainly
well,
a DC
yeah.
guy.
No, that's kind of what gave birth to the line art edition. If the color version was meant to be a love letter to those movies that I wasn't allowed to see when I was a little kid, but I still snuck into the theaters anyway, the black and white it's an homage to those big Marvel black and white magazines from the 70s that you couldn't buy at the 7-Eleven because they knew enough not to sell them to a 6-year-old. You'd have to find some big kid who, you'd find him at the arcade and he would sell you Marvel magazines and also cigarettes if you were lucky. And he was invariably named something like Stumpy.
Do you bring? I guess you bring a lot of human element because as a lawyer, you meet a lot of a wide slice of people, right? And
it's true,
almost like a social worker in a way, right? And they're always bringing you their troubles, so you kind of learn from that, don't you?
You don't meet anyone at their best, ever.
Yeah, and you hope to make it a little bit better, maybe.
I always say it's not the attorney's job to create conflict. It's the attorney's job to preserve conflict.
Wow, I never heard that before. That's a good.
It's not unique to me.
Yeah, Apex will be on with the Dawn Studio tonight at 6 p.m. Central.
Oh,
yep, catch me on there.
Right.
Yeah, I may be on there too,
all stuff
with you.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'll also be on a Turbo. Turbo Fighter channel tomorrow morning around 10 a.m. Central. I'll be on with them and Mike Walters at 7 p.m. Sunday. So I got quite a live stream going.
I will have to catch the rebroadcast because I'm a good Methodist boy, and I will be in church for Palm Sunday.
All right,
nice.
There you go.
Very good.
There you go. I just got done watching The Chosen Last Supper Part 1, where it starts with the triumphant entry, and it takes you all the way to the money lenders, and last night the third part, but I haven't seen it yet, which is the end of season 5. I don't know if you've been watching The Chosen, but
I have not. I just haven't had time, but I'm very aware of the project, and I really I love Easter stories. I love Easter stories.
Well, you'll love this because every episode, at least for the first 2 parts of this season, and maybe even the third part, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's the Last Supper Part 3, but every episode kind of starts back with the Seder because there's a lot in that, and they break it up in the different episodes and release. Like Part 2 was 2 episodes, Part 3 was 3 episodes. So Part 1 was 2, Part 2 was 3, and Part 3 will have to be 3 because they always have 8 episodes per season.
What platform is this on?
It's in the movie houses right now.
Okay,
They first released it to the theater, and then I think they're going to go to Amazon Prime with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
This is a perfect week for me to get caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They've had different, like Angel Studios and different things. And they have a YouTube channel, too, where you can keep up on that and have exclusives. It's just called The Chosen on YouTube.
Isn't it on the WB? I'm not the WB.
The
CW.
CW now.
Yeah.
Frog.
What year is it again?
That's right. 1997. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
WB.
That's right.
I was there watching the WB. I can't look down my nose. I was there.
Yeah, I think
I watched Buffy and Angel. We don't talk about it now, but I watched Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I did too.
When he was good.
I think they're slated. Originally, they were slated to do like 8 seasons, but I think that was cut to 7 years ago. And I don't know if they're still on par to do 7 seasons. So after this, there should be 2 other seasons at least. It's all filmed in Texas, which is mind blowing.
Great.
Because they really do make it look like the Holy Land.
Flores Park.
Oh my God.
Real cheap filming permits in Flores Park.
You see a lot of dirty nappy beards in the production.
Shoulder hair.
Well, it's a libertarian paradise, so I'm sure the filming license fees are probably very, very reasonable. You know, much more reasonable than the Q-tips, which are like $20 a box or something.
Oh my God.
I know you've probably seen where you're at an increase in prices. Has any of that went down? Are you seeing some stuff, a little bit of relief? Yeah.
What are you talking about, like in the store?
Prices? Yeah, like at the store.
Eggs?
I don't shop for groceries, so I don't have any idea what anything costs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, out here the eggs are like regular prices, like under $5, but you have to go to the Japanese and Korean stores. That's the ticket.
There you go.
Pretty much.
I find grocery stores very intimidating.
Really?
You got to get over that, man. It's a pleasure. If you like to eat, you got to get the ingredients, you know?
Well, that's fair.
That's a good way to starve, though.
Well, like, there's this great line in... You guys ever see Blackadder?
Yeah.
I've seen the whole series, though.
I don't think
There's a great line. It takes place... This season took place during the French Revolution. And Blackadder needs an aristocrat to pull off this scheme he's got. And he finds one in a bar. And he goes, you know, there's an aristocrat that's fallen from grace because it's the revolution. And he goes, hey, mate, how'd you like to make some real money? And the guy goes, no, I want other people to make the money and give it to me. And that's how I am with food. Like, I know I could probably be a really great cook, but I prefer other people to make the food and give it to me.
That's wild. Oh, man.
Yeah, and then all this food talk is making me hungry.
I ate before the stream because I knew I'd get peckish.
There you go.
Kind of like this gal.
Now that is the face that launched 1,000 ships. That is Sawyer Baines' better half, Mary, and as you can see, she's seen better days.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Right.
Although she would tell you that she's living her best life right now.
That's great. Hey, it's Shrek PMC.
Yeah.
Shrek PMC. Hello there. Welcome to the stream.
Your
so how do you... I know you've had this concept for like 30, 40 years, right? But you've not quite got to it except for the last couple of years. But you say almost number 2 is complete. How do you juggle your daytime career with your writing? Is it just kind of hit and miss, or do you?
My writing is very undisciplined until it becomes disciplined. So, like, the early process for me is just taking notes that aren't necessarily in chronological order. They're just snippets that come through, and then I will take one night where I just put all my notes together and kind of sort them out into a basic timeline. And then the discipline part comes from actually sitting down. For me, I find Saturday morning works the best. Just sitting down and just cranking something out. Like I had an attorney tell me once that he would tell all young attorneys, just file something. File something, and you can always amend it later. Right, and it's the same thing with writing for me. Just get it out of your head, get it on the page, just crank something out, and then you tweak it to where you want it to be.
Exactly. I'm always like making dialogue notes.
Yep.
Situational notes, and then you just put it all together.
Later, you kind of draw it all together. That's what.
And I was tweaking the script right up to the point where I sent it to I sent the first half to Eric for lettering, and right up to the day before, I was still making last minute revisions to the script because they're just things that you don't think you've punched hard enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, it might look good on a paper, but not on like the comic, not in the word balloon, something like that.
Tom, are you the ultimate editor on this, or do you have like other?
Well, I am. I told you guys that the idea first kind of got kicked into the boulder started traveling downhill when I saw that stream with Ethan and Narwhal. And so I reached out to Narwhal early on to submit a script to him and kind of like for him to give me notes, kind of like Dick Masterson did. And through the note process, we kind of kicked things back and forth for about, I'd say about 6 or 7 months, and then got it to the point where I was ready to launch it, and he put me in touch with Christian.
Nice.
So I would say ultimately I was the ultimate editor, but I did benefit very strongly from the notes I got from Narwhal.
Oh, that's cool, man.
That's cool because Narwhal does, like he did Nosferatu to celebrate 100 years of that movie, and
he did a great job.
He's done a panoramic of different things.
Narwhal reminds me very much of, I don't know if you guys remember Wasteland. It was a DC series before Vertigo, but it was like Vertigo before Vertigo.
Yeah,
Like they wanted to give Del Close a vehicle because Del Close is such a terrific writer. Narwhal reminds me of Del Close in many ways. Just an idea factory.
I can see that. I've got some Wasteland. It's kind of all over the place.
I love Wasteland, man. Oh my gosh. I read Wasteland when I was I spent my junior year in England, and you didn't want to buy a whole lot of comics over there because whatever you bought, you either had to throw away or bring home, and you want to pack light when you're on an international flight. But the shop that was near my school sold Wasteland, and so that was like the one comic I bought when I was in England. Was I would check out Wasteland every month.
Yeah. What a wasted opportunity. If I'm over there in England, I'm checking out some of that stuff I can only get over there.
That's true. Well, I did that with food.
Yeah.
Because I don't go to the grocery store, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Someone else could make me my my plowman's breakfast and my shepherd pie.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I can imagine if you're a lawyer.
I was thinking today, a wild thought, as I was getting up, Tom, is if money was no object, or at least, pretty much no object, I would probably take a main artist that I wanted to work on a story and like take him to Paris or someplace that I wanted to go, the Grand Canyon or whatever. And then he could draw, at least sketch out stuff for a story while he's there.
Well, what better place to write than in Paris? I mean, my gosh, you'd be in the footsteps of Hemingway and Fitzgerald, and I mean, you'd be living out the Lost Generation right there.
Yeah, and you could go see another poet, the lead singer of the Doors, who's buried there.
Yeah, Jim Morrison.
No, he's in Montana. What are you talking about?
Oh, did they move him? Okay, he's still alive.
He's still alive. Yeah,
with Elvis.
You didn't fall for that whole cover story, did you?
Yeah, maybe
somewhere in the Pacific Northwest.
I need to plumb that as a story idea. All these dead people are still alive, but they're part of a secret organization that tries to save the world.
Now I have seen Karl Marx's grave.
He's still alive too. Don't
he's still alive.
Believe the rumors.
He's running.
And so is Adolf.
That's right. He's running the
Democratic
Party.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer's cousin.
Sure.
So I dropped a link to Shrek PMC's YouTube channel. Maybe
I've
he
got
does,
an
like,
artist suggestion
Oh,
for you.
weird
I know another
missions.
artist in the community that
nice.
has a horror bent and love for it, like Graham, and I'm sure you know him too. Is he on your bucket list or like your storage list?
Who are we
Because you
talking
got
about?
so many. Aaron Lepresti.
I love it. I absolutely adore Aaron Lepresti.
Yeah,
absolutely
great.
adore him.
Yeah, could
I
you
think
see
I
him
did
doing
a
the
I did a
cover for
review
you
video
sometime?
of Wraith of God. I think I titled it "Aaron Lepresti is Universal."
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Yeah.
And then Peter, your co-host, says, "I never want to talk to you again."
That's right. That's right. Everybody
in
loves
America. In America, not the UK.
If you don't love Tommy Tuttle, you've got some personality defects. That's all I can.
Well, that goes without saying. I love
That's
you
true.
anyway.
That's true.
Oh, it looks like we're gonna have to lose Apex.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go, guys. So I sent you a link to the FemBat video. Hex, you want to play it later on?
Yeah.
Tom,
that's
it's great seeing you again, man.
Great to see you again, man.
Take care. Let's see you, Rex, and see you, Hex. Well,
Yeah.
see you next time around. Catch me 6 p.m. on the Don Studio.
Love on your
6
family
p.m.
members, Apex.
Thank you.
Yeah,
God bless
we're
you guys.
praying for you and love you all.
All right.
And where else can we, before you go, where else can people find you?
Find me on at comixapex on X Twitter and subscribe to my channel, Apex Comics, on YouTube.
And Don's studio tonight and other places coming up.
Yeah, Turbo Pit Fighter tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. And Mike Walters at 7 p.m. Central or 5 p.m. Pacific. Catch me
The
on
mic
the
stand. There you go.
Yes,
Yeah, the mic
mic
stand.
stand.
Here's another vampire story, FemBat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of your backers.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Incense and peppermint.
In my head.
That's a fun trailer. It's a fun trailer.
Yeah, that Apex is something else, ain't it?
Good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Who's that? Oh, look who's here. It's Omer Glitch. Hail.
Hey, Omer.
Chat in the mighty panel.
I did send you a text, Omer. Get back with me.
Yeah, man.
You have some other shows coming up scheduled, Tom? Because I know you've been.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got the Friday night show.
Yeah.
I want to say I'd have to look at my calendar. I want to say I've been invited on 2 other shows this month, but cool. I'm blanking right now on what they are.
Yeah. You're gonna have to come on my show, which is 4 o'clock Central, but then done daily. But we can schedule a special time for you.
Drop me a line. We'll figure something out. Yeah. So, but there she is, man. It's just it's beautiful to see it. That's all I can tell you. It's beautiful to see it.
Yeah.
Man, Peter did a great job with this cover. It's perfect. Because again, this is I'm not being facetious when I say that this is, in one way, it's a story about a gunslinger fighting a town full of vampires. But at its heart, it's a love story. Just, you know, not necessarily one that ends well. Well, you're very kind. You're very kind, sir. I don't know that I'd say Elvis. Maybe old fat Elvis.
Yeah, it's the Las Vegas glasses there.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm Suspicious Minds era Elvis.
Yeah, you don't have a white cape and with gold trim and a cane, do you? Yeah.
I do have a kimono.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He knew karate. He was a black belt too. You know?
Didn't she break up the Beatles?
I may have broken up the Beatles. My mother made me listen to the music for so long that I retroactively went back in time and broke them up.
I forgot it's Saturday morning over here still.
It is.
It's time to film my
so
Saturday
I'm
morning.
I'm in Eastern Standard Time. What time zone are you guys in?
I'm Central.
I'm
he's
West
Pacific.
Coast.
He's out in
Wow.
California. Yeah.
So we're all over the map. Literally.
You're in LA, aren't you, Hex?
Yeah, LA.
That's a big
That's
place.
right. The Viper Pit.
Yeah.
There we go. It's Saturday morning.
Has the homeless situation gotten any better?
No, it has not. We're just moving around.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I know one
ridiculous.
time you were driving through and showing us like the underpasses that, you know, and things.
Oh, yeah, that's been cleared out now in my area. Yeah, they cleared them out, but I see like new encampments in other places where they weren't before. So
I don't know why he wants to show Porky Pig cartoons. It's the visuals that usually get you struck, but he just tempts fate every time.
Well, you know what, though? The syllabus hangs together because my book does feature a Porky Pig's but that's all. There's a moment that's meant to evoke that.
I was going to ask about Easter eggs. Are there Easter eggs kind of dropped in there intentionally?
There is the one I was referring earlier to, that mystery that the audience will kind of get a sense for before the lead. So in that, I'd say that's kind of an Easter egg in that it's certainly teasing, you know, a later reveal. But it's like Easter eggs. I think of Easter eggs as being like something that's like hidden, that you find it and then the rest of the story moves on. This is sort of a like a groundhog popping her head out of the hole that kind of keeps coming back through the whole story.
Yeah. Now you mentioned food. What's your you like Italian? You like Chinese? What do you like? A little bit of everything.
I would say yes to everything you just asked. Yes. I love Italian. I have to kind of stay away from it.
The carbs.
Yeah, because all the carbs. I lost a lot of weight last year. And I'm happy about that. But one of the things you have to stay away, well, not stay away from, but monitor your intake is obviously the carbs. And Italian food is nothing but carbs.
Yeah.
And
I love Italian food.
Sauce.
Yeah.
I think the only food that
I love Italian. I love Thai. I love Mexican. I love everything. I love steak places. I love coffee shop fare. You know, I've even been known to eat an egg salad sandwich from a gas station.
Yeah.
Which is you do that, you never have to prove your bravery any other way.
You're taking a chance there.
That's right.
I know.
That's right. I got a sandwich when I was studying for the bar exam. I had to drive. I was taking my bar review course out of state, and I had to drive every morning to where I had the course. And I stopped at a gas station once before I hopped on the highway, and I picked up just a breakfast. It was like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. And I took it as I'm driving. I took it out of the wrapper, and I'm telling you, my thumb went all the way up through the bread to the meat, and I turned the sandwich over, and the bottom of the sandwich was covered in green mold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, covered in it. I put my thumb like right up through a mass of mold.
Oh, nice.
So you do take your life in your own hands with gas stations.
So how did it taste?
I declined. I figured I'd go up a little ways and pull over at a McDonald's.
If it wasn't going to make me extremely late, I would have done a backup and just I would have given them an earful or something over that. That's unconscionable.
Mm. Man, I think the only food that I don't get on with is Himalayan food. Tried it
I'm not even
once.
familiar with. Wait, I might be. Is that kind of Thai based?
It's
Is
no,
that
it's
Yeti
just
on the hoof? What the hell?
yeah, it's kind of like that. You're not Yeti, but like oxen. I don't know. It's just not flavorful. I
Because
only
the only
tried it
reason I
once
know
though.
about it is, or to whatever extent I have any exposure to it, is from Disney. When you go on the Himalayan ride, there was a restaurant at the base of the ride called the Yak and Yeti, and I have eaten there. That's Disney Himalayan food, so I'm not sure it's like authentic
Mm,
Himalayan food.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this was some restaurant, and even my Asian wife didn't like it. Yeah,
We
food,
should take it to the Yak and
food.
Yeti.
My sister asked me recently, because I just met her after about 60 years of being estranged from her for the very
Mm.
first time this week. And she said, well,
Congratulations.
what kind of food do you like? I said, American.
Yeah.
Anything American, like fast food junk, whatever. I mean, what I grew up on. I don't venture out much, I like some Italian and some Mexican and blah, 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 but mostly, what we grew up on.
So, what's your favorite meal?
Oh God, pizza, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I had a bucket list. We went to the movies, as I said. We ordered a pizza and went and got it and ate it in
Now
her.
you're getting pizza. Are you getting New York, Chicago, or Detroit?
This was very chewy. This was like glue.
No, but I mean, in a hypothetical situation, what would you go for first? New York, Chicago, or
I would
Detroit?
go thin crust myself.
Okay.
Yeah, with
Okay.
the toppings and stuff, not
What are your
overcooked.
toppings of
But
choice?
I'm usually meat. I'm T-Rex, as the name says.
You know, meat
I'm a
lovers.
meat eater. I
No.
mean, yeah, I don't go. I don't like like vegetables on my. I don't like vegetables.
What about like
Hardly.
mushrooms? I don't like green peppers, but like mushrooms and onions are okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Onions are delish. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we did that. We watched some TV together. I got some ice cream. Got some donuts, some
I
Krispy
heard you made
Kreme.
off with all the ice cream. I was
I
watching the
did.
TV.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's a good deal. You meet your sister, you buy ice cream, then
and
you
we
show
never
her
get to
the
eat it.
door, and you keep all the ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And she paid for most of this. So we went to a
Oh, even
Mexican.
better.
We made, yeah, I met her, and she drove up here to see me for the first time, and we went to this Mexican food truck where we had to give our order like 3 times before they understood us. and she spoke good English. It's just we couldn't get it right. We were kind of under the conception that they had barbecue. They did, but they was like on nachos and stuff like that, no buns, stuff like that. So we got that, and it was freezing cold. We had to wait out in the car. And then I come up to get the order. I got the order. And they're like, "Oh yeah, the fries. Oh, it'll be another 5 minutes." And it's freezing cold, So we had to wait around for a while. But it was, and they were open late, man. We drove past after the movie. It was like past 9 o'clock, and they're still open.
What movie
And
did you go see?
we went to see The Chosen Part 1 and 2.
No, good. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
there was Minecraft was sold out. It was amazing. We went on Sunday, the day she got there, and we went on Monday, and the difference. I mean, Sunday we had to wait till they cleaned the theater to get in there, and there wasn't that many people, I'm sure. And it was busy. Oh my God, it was backed up Sunday, and school was out too.
Sure.
Summer break for some people and spring break. And Monday, dead. Right. Absolutely nobody there. Hardly. So we had the whole
My
place.
son and I were going to go see A Serious Man on Thursday. But when the rubber hit the road, I was feeling kind of tired. So instead, he came over here and we watched. He'd never seen Full Metal Jacket, so I introduced him to Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yes.
I can remember $6, $7, $8 tickets. They were 15 a piece.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Nearly $30 for both of us to go see. So she's spending $60 to see 2 movies. You could buy a whole season.
You would think they'd make prices more competitive now, only because there are so many options than going to the movies. I mean, now we all have flat screens with really big wide screens, and movies are almost on streaming
reclining
right after they leave that.
chairs, man.
Right. So there's the incentive to actually go to a theater is kind of reduced. So you would think that they would find things like lowering prices to kind of make themselves more competitive.
The big Mike Tyson smack to that was the pandemic. You know, that just killed the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I think now they're just starting to kind of recover. You know,
I would agree.
A little
agree
bit.
with that.
Yeah. And it's really sad that they don't. I mean, and you go to the concession stand, sell yourself for a large bucket of popcorn, and you know, my God, the Cokes and drinks, and just back when
they're
just like,
that's
damn,
how
am
they
I
make
on the Orient Express here? What the, you know?
Well, as a family
That's how
man,
those
me and
distributors make money.
my ex would take all the kids to the movies, and you
Mhm.
take all your kids to the movies, and everyone just wants like a drink and popcorn with admission plus the snack bar stuff. You're topping $100.
I know, it's crazy. It's that,
Yeah.
and when we went, we would go on like Saturday matinee. You know, my mother would do that for convenience, whatever, and get out and whatnot. And you would keep your ticket stub, and it had the number on it. And the manager would come out after the Disney show, because we watched all the Disney stuff, and you get an hour of like Woody Woodpecker and other stuff, right?
Oh, sure.
News.
Yeah.
And even before the movie started, and you had intermission, right, to go to the bathroom. These were 3-hour-long movies, you know, maybe 4 hours with the, you know, so with the openers, and he would come out and say, ticket number 50, and that's me. Okay, if you're there, you know, if not, then he'd call out another number. You'd win a pressure cooker, a toaster, or something.
Wow.
You know?
Oh, man.
It was fun. You know, Mom, did we win? Yay. No, we didn't. We never won. But it was fun, you know.
Yeah, you couldn't do something like that in a big
Good
city.
incentive to get people out to the movies, you know, and to bring the kids on Saturday to the matinee. Hell yeah.
Mm.
I had a fun time when I was in London. A whole bunch of us went to see a midnight show of Rocky Horror.
Mhm.
And it was like an art house theater anyway.
Mhm.
So it was staffed by, you know, just college kids. So they were having fun too. And they, like, to get in, they did like a strip search of everybody to make sure you didn't have any water pistols or toast on you. And, you know, as a 19-year-old getting strip searched by a bunch of British college students was not a bad, you know, not a bad
handy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Throw it at the screen.
we went in and they did like a floor show from Little Shop of Horrors. That movie had just come out. So that music was still kind of in everyone's ears. So they did the Total Eclipse from the Sun song for us, you know, from the well right below the movie screen. And then the movie. So it's like just nonstop fun from start to finish. And I got strip searched.
Yeah, I can only imagine
That's
how
a bonus.
a generation before us. I mean, probably a couple generations, when you had movie serials, you know, which influenced Star Wars and things like that. But
sure,
you know, to see Flash Gordon Saves the Universe or Green Hornet or something on every week, you had to catch a chapter.
Oh yeah,
cliffhanger. What that must have been different for as a kid. Tarzan, yeah,
100%.
Yeah, 69 backers now on Devil Flyer.
Yeah,
I'm one of your backers as well.
Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate that.
Let's check out Rex's Devil Flyer trailer.
That means you're a charter member, my friend. You get free stuff from now on. We like free stuff. Decoder rings coming soon. Back at today. Mrs. Good Stuff says.
Looks terrific.
Yeah, we've really added to the campaign. I was on Scarlet Fevers and Shield for an hour and 45 minutes. She was very generous. There's a lot to this campaign. If you
I like that
listened,
image.
if you haven't, that is going to be the acrylic standee. So we got an acrylic standee of that with free domestic shipping. We got a new sticker book that's going to have 100 places for a sticker, special 6 a.m. section in that book, and plus you get a free domestic shipping on that, and you get on the sticker book and on the card set that we've added 19 characters, 10 cards, well, secret mystery card, double printed, on each side, different character on each side, except for that mystery card. And we've added a 60-page art book to it. So there's a lot we've added to it. The big bundle, I tried to load that up and make that irresistible to a person that wants the whole experience of just like, we got pogs, we got t-shirts, we got slammers, we got, and I'm not done adding to it yet. If you don't get $300 worth of value in it, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah, a keychain.
Yeah, Abby the dog keychain. She's the love of my life, and has been for the last dozen years. And the first person to back it, I've been working on these rounds lately, and the first person that backs it gets the original Bog Pog artwork. And then the next one to back the big bundle after that, we'll get the Geo Slammer. And I've just been working on Bog Pogs, which will eventually be a set. And then also some of the other characters, villains, and just some of the heroes. I've just been doing these rounds of late in color with alcohol.
Rex, is there a template that you use that you're supposed to use to make pogs? Like you have to make them that big and then shrink them. I don't know how that process goes.
No, I mean these are 11-inch rounds, so they should shrink down to pog size very easily, without losing much detail.
How do you shrink them? Do you put them in the oven or something?
Yes, they're like shrinky dinks. So I've been working on these a while, and it's a different layer to work in color. Homer Glitch, who was out in the, has gotten me, and some like this was just a head sketch. This character's called Thunder Rock. I created him back in 2020. I've got characters that go all the way back to the 70s. I'm really launching a whole new universe here. It wouldn't bother me if I put Marvel and DC out of business, or anyone else. I'm shooting for the stars, folks.
Well, they might do that themselves.
This has been 50. I've been collecting comics for 50 years. So it's been about 50 years in the making. And thanks to crowdfunding, I've got a vehicle, to do.
100%. Anything can happen.
Nice Jimmy Reyes Virgin cover there with the director.
See this before.
I like covers that have something to do with the story and not just, a pinup cover, I like to see the action happening on the cover too. Even the A cover there by John Dillard, the Here in black and white, has 14 different characters on there. That shows you what I'm trying to do.
I was so focused on the central character, I didn't even notice the periphery.
Yeah. He's up in your face, because he's kind of the linchpin.
That's where my eye was drawn first.
That's good design,
It really is.
Basically, John Dillard, he delivers for me all the time. He's taken a big step up in this. He's got like 4 pages more to do in the book for me. It's just been a money thing, get him the money, he'll do it. We've already got it designed out. He basically got with me and said, so you want it to be epic. What do you want as a cover? And I had an old Atom cover, DC Atom cover from the 60s, where he's bursting through with the original Golden Age Atom, a Gil Kane cover. And I said something like this, a burst through cover. And then as we were designing it, I said, can we have the ends of the paper singed, which this is not here because it's the black line artwork, but on the color version, they're singed like he's burning through too. And then we tried to pack in as many characters as we could.
It's cool.
Kind of give them, show them that it's not just about Devil Flyer. It's about, a whole universe of characters. So I came up with it, the idea of doing like the Devil Flyer story and then these backup stories that I was adding, rolling that into the main story eventually to where it all becomes just Devil Flyer, his own book. Magazine size, so it's going to be epic in scope. It needs to be because the artwork to the Devil Flyer story, there was a very practical thing about that. He didn't want any print issues, so he drew it the actual size of a comic book, which is wild because that's very small. He had 2 eye surgeries during that time. He's 72 years old now. He's been a designer I've known him since 1982, over 40 years. Great guy, lives around the corner from me. Got Tank Ferret here. That's a back. This is the gray and blue version, and then for the main cover, it'll be the red and burgundy version, but the same artwork, just color different. So it makes every cover kind of unique, or at least the back cover. Every book unique, no matter what cover you get.
I like that art.
Yeah, I did the Bog myself, and Cy Marcos by Tank Ferret. The Seer is by John Dillard, John Falande's watercolor cover, of course, and Hockey Ad Hoc down in Australia did Dirty Joe there, and the Bystander done Doc Blaylock. Well, I've employed like 25 people already on this project in some aspect of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
3 years in the making, at least.
Oh yeah, it's just so much stuff since the last time I looked.
Oh yeah, I've totally ramped it up. We got 3 free domestic shipping on the standee, on the new card set, and the sticker book, which you see here. And you will get a 6 a.m. Cortex sticker, and that hopper that's on the front cover there under the logo, you'll get that as a color version sticker for buying the sticker book. Only $10, free domestic shipping. These are some of the characters you see Zigzag there, the speedster. He's kind of like our mascot for Momentum Comics. And I want like, where it used to say Marvel Comics Group across the banner, I'll have him streaking across and it'll say Momentum, at some point. I've got to get someone to design that for me. Either that or spend some time and do it myself, which, my time's precious, Tom.
Mine's precious too.
Yeah.
Cortex by 6 a.m. Comics.
Yeah, everybody likes Cortex. He's like a disembodied brain in an android body. He starts. Cool. I always envisioned him as a good guy, but now they said he'd make a great bad guy, and I said, well, why can't we do both? He starts off as a bad guy and turns from the dark side to the good and becomes a good guy. How about that?
That's optimistic.
You get the best of both worlds. Yeah. He has a mind change, Yeah.
He changed his mind. I get it.
Looks like he could use some protection, though.
And this is good Cortex, the silver and black and red version. Probably purple and green are good villain colors, so he'll probably have a different colored outfit for when he's villain.
What's to stop his enemies from just sticking their thumb into his brain? He needs a helmet. He needs a helmet or something.
Yeah. I may have to work that into a story if they try that, and disintegrate their fingers.
I would punch him in his brain.
Yeah.
Or maybe these rays are some kind of force field.
And I bet the texture would be not unlike that breakfast sandwich I had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm going off cam for 1 second, but I'm still here, guys.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, and here's the art book. That's by Dionysus. He attended a year, I think, at the Joe Kubert Art School, and he does Toma Reckoning. And this was actually for the next book, but I decided to use the artwork since I had it, and I needed a cover and a back cover for the new 60-page art book. And this is a turnaround. This is also a preview of the next issue, the 0 issue that'll be coming. I will do a John Buscema book now, the art of John Buscema next, just for the money. you know, I think I'll get a lot of backers on that, and then we'll get back to doing my Momentum Universe stuff, you know, and I'll be developing that in between. So this is kind of like a turnaround. He will be battling Armored Flyer among other people. He'll be giant kaiju as well, called Smolder at the beginning of the story. So there's a lot of action. What you didn't get in the first one, the knockdown, drag out, you know, battle, you'll get in the second issue for sure.
Exciting.
Yeah, I just love that we switched roles here, you know, where you got a good turnaround cover, where the back cover, you got the antagonist coming down on him. On the front cover, you got Devil Flower coming down on him. Just a role reversal.
Nice idea.
And this is going to be my content page. There you can see, and I have thought of two people that I do not, my animator of my trailer, Pedro Ang, and also Justin K. Sweet that helped me out last year get this.
Now, who did you reach out to do the page? Did you use an artist, or like who does the credits page? An artist or a letterer?
Like the artwork here, or
well, obviously the artwork would be done by an artist. But like if you're looking for just text, do you reach out to the letterer or to the artist?
Okay, that right there, I and Omer Glitch just kind of did when we put it up there, you know.
Okay.
And then actually, Omer did it. You know,
they did the typewriter.
His main thing was fitting all the names on there because, you know.
Right.
You know, I think out of the box, Tom. Like with John, you know, there's a certain price point, and it's like, okay, I need a content page I can use again and again. So I select an image of like the typewriter where like I'm using it for the credits here, but I can use it for like the story chapters and stuff in the actual book.
I'm with you.
And reuse the artwork or flop the artwork. You know, I think about that, flopping images and using it, you know, 2 times.
I'm with you. That makes sense.
Like in narrating stories, you know, I've had him do like bystanders. Well, you know, to make that different, I'll probably flop some of those images and it'll be the same artwork that I'm using in 2 stories, but it'll be flopped, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm getting the most bang for my buck. Yeah. There's a piece that Rob Ewing, very first thing he did for me, actually, after we interviewed him on Apex Comics. I'm going to be utilizing him a lot more this year. He's telling the origin of Bog. Yeah, there's at the very bottom of the campaign, there's 3-page preview of the origin of Bog, which will be coming in the next book. Here's the drawn end here. There's my co-host and 2 other people. Plus, this is both Midnight when she's younger and older. I'm telling her from 2 different time points.
Okay.
Her story. And that's her horse there, one of her horses, dear Gray Appaloosa. And I design all this. I'm like, okay, I want dream catchers, you know, and I want them back to back and, you know, have the artists do it. But I give them the concept and they take it and run, you know, when I approve it.
Oh, so
and I don't micromanage, but I do know what I want, you know, and I'm writing all the stories in this.
These the roustabouts, are those the guys in Dreamcatcher?
Yes. One's Shadowhawk, one's Crooked Painter, and one's Lack. Lack really is a tracker, and which is wild. You know, he really is kind of a Western type. He grew up in he was in Colorado when he was younger, but he grew up in Alaska, and he was a tracker and a guide and all kinds of stuff. You know, so he really has lived a lot. So this was right up his alley, and we did not know that. I didn't know it. I just wanted to work Midnight into it somewhere, you know, and I already had the trading card here, and I wanted to, this is in part of the cosmic, you know, kind of my cosmic watcher, you know, my very powerful character that looks sort of like the Question or Noir with the fedora hat and the long coat and everything. And I'm kind of folding this into his
This
story.
is the Watcher?
The bystander is I think either further on down there under Midnight, or you've already passed him. I don't know. I think he's further on down. Yeah, there's Armored Flyer. You can see one. There's the bystander right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of like in a trench coat with the hat and gloves and stuff, sort of a noir character. And he has kind of cosmic power. There you see him on the right in the hat. He's in the Bog Graytail story. He kind of uses his cosmic mumbo jumbo, comic book logic power to draw up Bog from the grave, from the ground. So he crosses over into stories,
Okay.
Eventually all these backup stories will be rolled into one story, and the title will just become Devil Flyer with his story. We're leading up to the present. All these stories are told slightly in the past. Now, I do have an ongoing series that'll be launching soon, which, in the next year or so, which will be called Momentum Unleashed, Future Visions, and all the stories are going to be told in the future. 250 years in the future, slightly in the future, not our future, but the future of the character that's been, like the death of Silver Boa. It's going to be told in 1959, which is the character's future. I got a Midnight story that I'm working on now where, it's back in the Old West, but it's her future. It's Old Lady Midnight.
I don't think you have enough to do.
I have people say it can't be done. You spend enough time building a good foundation, you can do it. Actually, it's getting after this book here, which I couldn't fit everything into, but I didn't want to be set by just one genre. If people like some noir, they'll get some noir. If they like horror, they'll get some horror. If they like romance, they'll get some romance. If they like hero, they'll get hero. If they like Western, they'll get Western. Any kind of genre. Nothing's off the table. And you can start the story anywhere. Like you were saying, Tom. A lot of writers don't get that.
Right.
And that's why I started branching them off in different timelines, like Old Lady Midnight and Young Midnight, telling her story. And that way I can do it from two vantage points and tell it a lot quicker.
Right.
And develop that character a lot quicker. It's a different type of storytelling than you usually see. So I'm hoping it's unique,
Well, it's not linear, and that appeals to me because you know how much I like Pulp Fiction and non-linear stories.
Yeah, and this 2-page spread, a lot to just the imagery fest there to unpack. But
now on that 2-page spread, are the pages going to face each other, or are you going another direction?
Yes, they're going to face each other like that. Yeah, it's not like a page reveal. It's really alluding to his origin. And this is page 2 and 3 down below where he's just the triumphant, hero. You open it up and he's sinking, he's chained up and sinking. And then we go to the double page Kirby spread here where he's over the city with a little quote. These are the times that try men's souls by Thomas Paine earlier that day, and then the story starts from there. And I love that you see the hero all bound up on the, and I took that from Spider-Man's story where you open up the cover, you see him already in peril and you wonder what's going on. And then you jump to earlier that day. And then you come back to that point after you've totally forgot about it. I've reread this story again and again. And I always forget that he's bound up and sinking. By page 16, I totally forgot that because so much happens in between. I love that.
I like this page a lot.
Yeah, Gray Tales, kind of like old Charlton stories and stuff. And Bystander will be a character that interacts with other characters, but he'll also be like an announcer, kind of like Watcher was in What If stories, And I have another one, a female character, cosmic character down below there called the Seer. And she's going to be pretty much the same thing. And I've even suggested that they may be one in the same person. Even though they're
like the Three Fates, or was it Dr. Occult and Rose?
Yeah. Or Phantom Stranger, Yeah. Dead Ninja. This was some artwork before I even had a channel, and I knew I wanted to get something done. I started doing what things could be used on the campaign for trading cards, and very early on, I got somebody up from Canada on Fiverr to color these things. That's kind of what he did for a living, was a colorist. His interiors were horrid. I just could not communicate with the guy. But now trading cards, he did a fairly decent job on. And this is artwork by me 3.5 years ago. This was the first time I really solidified what I wanted Dead Ninja to look like.
And you know what I always say. You know what I always say. The only good ninja is a dead ninja.
There you go. So these will be probably some of the trading cards in the trading card set, some of the early work done by me. There's another underwater character, Sargasso. Sargasso is like a trap for ships. You know, it's like seaweed and other stuff that traps ships.
Yeah.
So the name does have a meaning. How it applies to him, don't ask me, you know, but I thought it would be a neat name. Here's Kill Dragon. He's kind of like a cousin or a brother of the one below, which is Blood Dragon. Blood Dragon in the first story, he gets part of his tail blown off, and it grows in the ocean into Kill Dragon.
Whoa.
Into another character. One's green, one's blue. The only difference is Kill Dragon is a little bit smaller than Blood Dragon. A little bit more, you know, chunky. Because there wasn't that much mass to grow from, you know.
Right.
And, Sand Devil,
the chibi version.
He's one of my new war characters, believe it or not. He's part of a group of 4 or 5 people called the Skull Squad that is set in the 1930s and 40s and fights crime. And they're all skull-faced characters. He's kind of like Sandman with his powers.
Wow,
you know,
except a lot more frightening.
Yeah. He's kind of like Ghost Rider and Sandman put together, in a way. Is the best way I could describe him. But he's part of the Skull Squad.
Cool looking character.
Yeah, and that's drawn by me a few years ago. This is Tuttle, another character of mine. And as soon as I give him color reference, he's going to color this, and we'll put the color version. This is going to be a sticker in the sticker book, and below this is Dead Ninja, Omer Glitch's Dead Ninja that he did.
Yeah, I like Omer Glitch's work.
And here's some Rob Ewing artwork. I'll be working a lot with him this year.
I remember when he was drawing this.
Yeah, he was doing this on my show. Yeah. Very cool. That was based out after a Tank Ferret drawing, you know, and he did his own version of it. And then I described this to him, and he whipped this out with the bystander.
That's cool.
Kind of a shattered, you know, space thing. Because, I mean, basically that's what happens with this. Devil Flyer has a Faustian, you know, deal with the devil, if you will, or chaotic type thing. And Pandora's box kind of been opened twice unwittingly by trying to save a friend's life in issue 7, which is, you know, again, all these stories are told in the past. We're leading up to the present, you know. So what things that happen on that day in issue 7 will relate to the first issue, you know. All this chaos going on. It's changed magnetic pose and the electromagnetic field and the ley lines and all kinds of stuff. This is, you know, anything's possible. I said, I've got to have a good premise for time travel and all this stuff. And so I had to work.
They did something, what was it, Babylon 5? They did something where we saw something in season 1 and then all of us kind of forgot about it. And then like in season 4, they did a callback where we see it from the other guy's point of view because it's like a time travel type deal. So we finally find out who that guy was.
Now, I'm not J. Michael Straczynski, but he did say when writing Babylon 5, he wrote 1,000,000 years in the past and 1,000,000 years in the future. So he knows where he's been and where he's going. I haven't got quite there yet, but I'm getting there. You know, it's kind of like I'm figuring out how I'm going to save myself as I fall off the building.
Right.
You know, and I'm just kind of writing it as I go. But it is getting easier to write because I'm laying a good foundation, and the stories are starting.
Well, and once you get a feel for your characters, they kind of, I don't want to say they write themselves, but you you don't have to work as hard to come up with the things they say because they're kind of speaking through you.
Yeah, and it's like I have different aspects to my personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's more the thoughtful, philosophical. That's kind of like Dead Ninja, or those that meditate and things like that and perfect their human body and stuff, and like Inner Man. And then there's others where I just violent characters. When you get violent and angry,
that's based on your violent side.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you project into different characters.
Maybe I'm glad we're in different time zones.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Now you've got the bystander here. Are you any plans for a straight stander or a gay stander, trans stander?
Spoilers. Now you're projecting.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be entertaining.
Well, I told you maybe Seer, might be him. I've toyed with that idea in the future. So, and there is another character that is male now, and there's a good reason, he's female in the future.
Okay.
So and there's a good reason for that. I don't just do that to be gender swapping. But I like to do subversive, unexpected stuff that you don't, and making the characters fun and showing them in different lights. I was thinking today I'm going to do a special where, like, it's not a multiverse, but since all this has been unleashed on the Momentum universe, that we're going to get aspects of characters that are almost like the amalgamated characters, where you have DC and Marvel characters and other, maybe Predator, Alien, just different things from different comic companies, and they bleed through to my universe, in like a mixed up manner. I was thinking Cyclops, the Thing with like bone claws, little Wolverine in there. I could do some mashup characters at some point.
Yeah.
Where things have been fractured, and that's what they're having to deal with. He's having to meet all these characters and then group them together to basically stem off this ancient evil that's bringing an apocalypse to the world. There's the bystander. He's kind of receiving a shock there.
Oh, I thought he was going, hee.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, I'm just trying to be entertaining.
Yeah. Try harder.
Now, if he got into comedy, could he be the bystand up?
There you go.
And
if he's no good, he could sit down.
There you go.
Yeah. Getting into the noir film, you gotta have, you gotta have him as a smoker, I guess. I mean, he's basically pretty much immortal. So yeah, cigarettes don't affect him like Constantine,
Right.
But yeah, you got to strike the beats with the different characters, There's the Seer right there.
Oh, that's lovely.
That may be the future version of the bystander. That's a spoiler, but I just can't hold the secrets for too long. And some of this stuff is years off into the development of it.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I see that's a female face. So
hopefully somebody sees a little something in it for everybody,
Yeah, this guy sees a lot in it.
Yeah.
Imagine the size
but
of
only in 2 dimensions.
Yeah. So you smashed them together to make one good one.
Yeah, this is Jin. He's kind of like a genie, There's not, I don't deal with magic a lot, but magic's been unleashed. I mean, aliens, I've seen UFOs in broad daylight. Okay. Very up close for a long time. That was pre-cell phone, so I didn't catch it on, but I could have caught like 20 minutes of footage of this thing.
Wow.
It was silent, no vapor trail or anything. Don't know how it was suspended, moving fast. But it
was obviously the Iranians.
But and personally, my worldview is, are aliens possible? Yes. Do they exist? I don't think so. Don't know what it is. Can't explain it. Maybe they do. Okay. But I said, well, I want to deal with stories like that. So I need to think up a good premise where anything goes, whether I believe in it or not, even magic. See, because really, explain magic to me. Most people can't do it. You know,
I can't do it.
yeah.
I can explain 3-card Monty to you. I know how to.
Yeah.
I know how.
Now
that
this
works.
probably reminds you of another character. His design, and I didn't directly take it from that. I just created this character in 2008, but he reminds me of a Mazo that
I was
always.
thinking Amazo,
Yeah.
Amazo or Eclipso.
Or Eclipso. Yeah. Eclipso goes way back to the 60s.
Yeah.
House of Mystery. He had a run in House of Mystery way back when.
And then he
So I've been
headlined
making this. I've been making this artwork I've had into trading cards. You know, doing the lettering, picking the colors for the lettering and stuff, and sizing it to get it ready for trading cards and other stuff. So I've been having fun with it. Omar's been showing me a lot, you know, on how to make these into cards and do the fonts and the colors and stuff on that I previously, because I'm technically challenged. Everybody gets a free 6 a.m. sticker. Everybody gets a free artwork. They say you don't have a proper campaign unless you have a 6 a.m. sticker. So you got, I've commissioned him for 6 of them so far. Here was another early piece from about 30 years ago when Devil Flyer was like, the concept for him was a Doctor Strange character, believe it or not, and Spawn. Hence the green wings and stuff, the green energy. And then I figured out, okay, everybody was like, well, he doesn't look much like a devil. Okay. So it came to doing the John Dillard cover. We went with the burgundy and red and the flaming wings and kind of played into that. But this is kind of like the Golden Age version of him, you know, where
it was like
he
parasite.
goes through different power sets, you know.
Right.
Is he being attacked by parasites or something here?
Yeah, it's really a redemption story. If you want to know what Devil Flyer is, it's about how does the guy save his soul from a bad deal, you know, and how does he undo what he started, you know, which is unleash chaos into the whole universe, you know, which is even affecting imaginary scenarios like Marvel characters and DC characters coming in. Which
so now, am I getting one of these cards?
You do. You are a charter member, and
There
that means you get. If you back my ash can, which is done and ready, you get 2 trading cards, 2 magnets, and 3 bog bookmarks with that. 24 pages. We've done over $1,400 on Indiegogo with that one. You get all this stuff here you see, plus that charter member card. That is the number one thing you want to get. It's only available on that ash can previously and on this campaign. It won't be available ever again to become a charter member. That entitles you to free stuff from now on in the mail. I will always check your address to make you see your address has not changed, but you get free stuff. I want to do like the 3D decoder rings and all kinds of stuff, fun stuff. But we'll start off with the charter member card plus another.
Always eat your Ovaltine.
You'll get original artwork from me from time to time. You'll get all kinds of stuff. Maybe 6 a.m. sticker. I'm thinking probably for the first promo that you will get with your charter member kit, maybe another 6 a.m. sticker.
Oh, cool.
Of Devil Flyer or something. I've already got 2 designed, or I might say that for another campaign, or I might have him draw me another one. You know, whatever. But Hopper here is the only character that's been on a cover with Devil Flyer. He has been on one other comic company's cover. And that was a drawn in tier, you know.
What is Hopper's what is this? What are his powers there?
His powers, well, spoilers, he's for one, and you're seeing him use the code here. He's kind of got the heat and the code of his body that he controls it. So it's kind of heat and code, but it you know, portals play a big thing from logistically getting characters here and here. And with a name like Hopper, he can open portals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it just, I can't believe I didn't think about that for a long time, that Hopper can, you know, do that as well.
Well, then he can be a bridge from one of your universes to the next.
Well, I mean, there's only one universe, but then, yeah, this is messed with anything. So, yeah, there might be a multitude of like different things, pocket universe, whatever. Yeah, we'll play with that for a while. And then if we resolve the thing, we'll do away with a lot of that. But we'll have fun in the meantime. There's Lady Hopper. I basically designed Hopper, and I told Rob Ewing, I said, do me a Lady Hopper. to be a female version of the character, and this is it. Yep.
Are they like some interdimensional frog
Alien
creatures?
race? Yeah, I mean, basically, I wanted like a Nightcrawler type character, a
Uh,
Spider-Man, very agile, athletic, just
mhm,
fun character to hop around and not big on the muscles, but very agile.
right.
Yeah.
It's
You
Fitch.
know, we reach this goal. We get another original art by me character, uh, and then here is the 3 pages, which is a barbarian bent.
Wow.
Kind of sort of Celtic warriors here.
You're
The
not
origin
kidding
of
when you say there's something for everybody.
Now this won't be in this book. This is a preview of the next book. This will be the origin of Bog that starts to tell his origin.
Oh.
So this is Bog here being attacked,
Oh, wow.
kind of overcome. But there'll be a backstory. This is a good starting point.
I never knew.
Who knew? Yeah. Totally.
Blast.
And Critical Blast, yeah, RJ, he'll be fulfilling this campaign. So you're going to get it. And probably in July, I'm hoping. That'll be a year and a half. So I've still got some work to do on it. Still got to, so we need your support to get this made. I do look at every backer as a producer of this book, and I'm very grateful for the 69 backers. That's one thing I like, Tom, about Fund My Comic. That's an actual backing number. That's not if you backed it 6 times.
Right.
That
These
is
are 69
individual backers. So you really get a better idea of what your support is. You get an actual count.
All right, we're still on 69.
Yeah, well, 69 is a good
Not
number.
a bad number. Although I prefer the
Yeah.
68. That's where
Yeah.
you do me and I owe you one.
Now, I got to ask you again, Tom. I've asked you this before. Are you going to do Kickstarter? Are you going to do Fund My Comic at least? Fund My Comic's real. Or maybe a second chance over there?
But who are you asking?
You.
Oh, I Fund My Comic. It's a storefront, so it'll just remain on.
Okay, so you're on there. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking you were on Indiegogo.
Nope.
Yeah.
I went with Luke.
Yeah. It's great that you did that. I mean, it's just, I can't wait to see if
the more people like
6 figures.
He was very easy to deal with because I came into it like a babe in the woods. I didn't know anything about anything, and I had a lot of what I kind of was afraid were stupid questions. But he very much there are no stupid questions. Just questions you don't know the answers to.
Yeah. And he's got to be happy at the way your campaign's going. Because it's like, man,
Oh, it's been terrific. It's been a hell of a roller coaster ride. Just I guess that's not what a roller coaster does. It's been it's been fun. I can't think of a good analogy. It's been fun.
A rocket ship.
Well,
it's been like something that I would enjoy. It's been like something fun.
Yeah. Well, it's been something you've been pressure cooking for a while, and then to have a release and actually get it out there and then actually start working on it again and developing it even more.
And the story has definitely evolved from where I first came up with it because I had the framework, I had the concept, I had the title, but the whole thing with the love story aspect, I could not have written in the 90s. You have to have some life experience to write about life.
And sometime listen to your chat because they were like, well, how about romance? And I'm like, well, yeah, there could be something that didn't occur to me, but the ladies like to see some. I can definitely weave some stuff like that in there. Nothing's off the table. They're the ones that gave me the idea for. We actually did a poll. Do you like Kill Dragon? I like Kill Dragon as a name, or Blood Dragon, one or the other. I can't remember. And they were both great names. And Apex Comics suggested one of them, by the way. But I like the other name. So I did a poll. Let's just vote on it. Well, it was tied. So that day. So I said, well, and then somebody from the chat said, well, why don't you have his tail blown off? And or I don't know if they even suggested that. They were like, why don't you have him come out of the other guy or something? Be like a two characters. And I'm like, yeah,
one
that's
begat
neat.
the
We'll
other.
do that. You know, so I worked that into the story.
Blood Dragon begat Kill Dragon. Kill
Yeah,
Dragon
and they
begat.
suggested a lot of the names to me because I create the characters, the visuals most of the time. Very rarely do I have the name before. Like Silver Boa, I had the name before I had the character designed. You know, and then from that character, I wanted a retro character that was in the 30s and 40s. So we did a retro version of him. So that it's kind of like the Phantom, where it's a generational thing handed down, you know. And same thing with other characters, like Midnight might be related to somebody in the future, maybe not. There's like Cy Marco, who's the head of the Chicago mob and goes up against Devil Flyer in the first story. He in the future story, the Silver Boa story, the death of Silver Boa, 1959, you'll meet his grandfather when he was a young man getting into and trying to make a name for himself in the mafia. And then you'll meet him later in the next Devil Flyer story when he's like in his 80s visiting his grandson. So, you know, you'll see him from different time vantage points. That's kind of like what I'm doing with Midnight. You know, you can, you know, I've learned through this process, you can start the story anywhere you want. And a lot of that comes from like Dark Knight, Batman, you know, seeing Batman as not your traditional what you have in here, but as the older version toward the end of his career, or Batman Beyond, you know. And that, yeah, all these are life lessons, you know. You don't have to tell it in a linear fashion, like you said. And I think often they do. I'm going to do a book. Okay, we got another origin story. You don't necessarily, I'm not going to tell you the origin to Devil Flyer till issue 7.
Okay.
I might allude to it, like on that 2-page spread, but I'm not going to give you the origin. I said, okay, after this story arc and this big climactic battle to save the world, how do I top that? I know you're invested in him by now. You want to know his origin.
Right.
So I'll work that in, you know. You know, how do I top it? Like you say, ramp it up. Just keep going, you know. Don't go down. You know, don't tell a
crescendo, build
story.
a crescendo.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to figure that out, right? On how do I make this even better and better and better and better. But you got to lay a good foundation. And I feel like with some comics, they don't take time.
Now I know I backed you, but I don't remember what tier. Is there a catch-up tier on your project? Like where someone who's new to your world can get everything?
Yeah. Oh man, I have put so much into the big bundle. There's exclusives in there. Yeah, exactly. That the big bundle is that, and you get so many exclusives with that. The only thing you don't get, and I'll throw that in free if you back the big bundle, you get that original artwork for the Bog Pog, and you get and I'll throw in one of these too. I need to put this on there, but I don't have very many left. I only published 100 of these. We did over 1,400. It's still up on Indiegogo. And all the extras were just like an afterthought, you know, that I added that. I didn't do the stretch goal type thing. And it took us over a year to get to $1,400. So on that, but we you know, we had like 60 signups in the first day. We had over 100 like by the third or fourth day. There was a lot of enthusiasm for this project, and I'm glad to see that. And I don't think that would have been because I had the story done like 3 years ago about, you know, and I could have just released Devil Flyer by its own, but I don't think it would have went much anywhere, you know. I've had time to really add to and grow, and I think as a writer, and you've had time, 30 years, but then, you know, it's different from, okay, I had this thought up 30 years ago. Yeah. But how much did you really apply and work on it and try and, you know, how would I do this? If I actually, now that you have a vehicle, Tom, it's like, now you're really, the rubber hitting the road.
100%, right?
Where you're like saying, yeah, we can do this. You know, it's a lot different in that and just kind of world building. Because that's all I was doing for decades was creating characters, world building, thinking up story ideas and stuff. And I've got a lot to fall back on, but still it's a lot different than in actually engaging and putting something out there in front of people to judge, you know, and say if that's any good or not, you know.
Nope. The art only belongs to the artist until that point where he puts it out there, and then it belongs to the world.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
right.
Be sure of what you put out there, because, you never get a second chance. And that's why I've kind of like really worked on this over the time. Not only that, but, with other artists, it just takes time, In fact, when I came on the scene, I was giving people commission. You do this artwork, you do this story and stuff like that. They didn't even know I did art. They thought I was just a writer, And then people were saying, well, you're just a writer. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I've always considered myself an artist up to the last few years. Yeah. Jack of all trades. Yeah. But, I know, and I knew even with Devil Flyer, because I'm a friend of like over 40 years, I knew it would go faster and actually get the core of the project done faster if I collaborated. So then if I drew it,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, I think, get discouraged. I could do that better. I could do that better. And if you're continually going back and trying to tweak it, you'll never get anything out. You got to just do your best and put it out there, and then go on from there.
100%.
Either that or get somebody else to do it. And
you can tweak it in your brain forever, but at some point you have to put it out there.
And I was really reticent at the first, Tom, of like working collaboratively with people. That was the hurdle I had to get over, because I wanted to do it all myself, kind of like Apex Comics does or Hex Allen does. But it's fun collaborating with other artists and seeing things from a different vantage point. I love fan art because of that.
Absolutely. I love fan art.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get to see what their vision of your character is. And you're like, oh, that's cool. And you can incorporate or, stuff like that you see into it.
Yeah.
Well, Hex, what you got coming up lately? You've been hosting for us. What you got going on?
Just the Nephilim Squadron still on Fund My Comic. That's all I got. But we're gonna have to wrap up soon, because I'm getting pressure from the wife outside to wrap it up.
Yeah, we only get so long to play, right?
Yeah. We gotta go do our day stuff.
Get out of the sandbox. Yeah.
On Saturday.
Usually you get out and about on Sunday.
Does she want you to mow? Yeah. Mine always wanted me to mow.
No, she wants me to go shopping with her.
Mine always wanted me to curly, so
Thomas, that lawn's not gonna mow itself.
Yeah. Thank God she doesn't pressure me on that.
Get out there. Get to it. Winch.
But yeah, I think we should wrap it up, though, as we've gone quite some time.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Get Tom Tuttle to what, 70? Or where's he at? No, he's not even. That's my campaign. Get me to 70 and get Tom to 150.
The 150, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Close. We're one away.
And thanks again to Rex for doing all the heavy lifting and all the
thanks to all you guys.
Carrying the show.
I got questions for me. Anybody shows up and say, I got all the answers, I call them a liar.
There you go. I don't guarantee answers, but I do guarantee responses.
We should be able to learn our complete life. You only get one time around in this journey, make the most of it.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. So where can we find you, Tom?
I'm on Twitter as Tom Tuttle. My YouTube channel is Tom Tuttle's Traveling Salvation Show, and 70 Men's Before Sundown is on Fund My Comic.
All right.
Now, as soon as you said that, I thought of like one of those wagons, that sell the snakeskin oil or whatever,
Well, that's a good image, but it more comes from my love for Neil Diamond.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Brother love.
Light. Oh yeah. This is the Nephilim Squadron. Last chance.
I want to say I'm a backer of yours too. You had a drawn in tier at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, did yeah.
Was that over on Indiegogo or Fun?
That's for the
yeah. I think
that's for the Indiegogo version. Yeah.
Drawn in backer on the Indiegogo.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get him photo reference of Elvis.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it. I just have to start coloring, doing the flat colors. And,
Well, I'm
I
one
sent
of
you a
these
picture of my
five
son.
backers.
Whenever I get a drawn in tier, I always have my a family member drawn in.
I'm one of these five backers on Fun My
Yeah.
Comic. I finally got it.
There you go.
About 6 months ago or so.
Yeah. Your son is one of the would-be assassins.
Oh, good.
Of BF Teru.
He'll approve of that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool to have drawn in tiers.
But he gets killed horribly.
He'll approve of that too.
Yeah.
I think you asked me. I want to say you sent in. I want to say, hey, I'm going to have my son drawn in. I want to say you reached out to me and said, okay, but I'm going to kill him. Is that all right?
That's right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That blows my mind that people want to be drawn in and killed. Horribly.
Yeah,
that is symbol, isn't it? Hey, look, this is what I look like if I'm disemboweled.
Crooked Painter that was being drawn into my book and becoming a permanent character. He's going to be like a feral dealer, an outlaw feral dealer, gambler. He's drawn in 16 different comics now.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's his thing. He gets drawn into these books.
7 of 9 gets drawn into a lot.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I got to get going, guys. But and Rex, where can we find you?
You can find me daily on the 4 o'clock shadow with Shadowhawk, and Tom will hopefully get you on here.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'll definitely we'll compare. I'd love to come on.
Okay. And you can find me over on X under Devil Flyer and under Rex Christian on Facebook. Other places, but I'm available. I'm streaming every day. I'm living my life vicariously on the internet.
Yeah,
that ain't always fun.
And I live through you because I'm like, God, I wish I could stream that often.
Yeah, no, you don't. How do you think I got the gray hair? Of course, you're bald.
And you can find me on X at Hex_Allen or at QA Comics. Since I've changed my handle, my YouTube name from Hex Allen Comics to Quantum Age Comics, in case people aren't aware. And you see me in the chat, you see Quantum Age Comics in the chat, and you're like, "Who's that?" It's me. Okay.
It's you.
And I got to say, next week I'll be on with Janet from Another Planet on Thursday, I believe at 7.
Ow!
Yeah, she's hot. She's here in Arkansas. Where wow. Wow. And I was on with Scott.
But she's got a brain on her too, guys. She's got thoughts.
Yeah.
She's not just eye candy. Okay.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's got a mind. Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. And Quantum Age Comics on YouTube. So yeah, go there, and you can also pick up the preview version of Nephilim Squadron, which is in grayscale. This is the first issue or first chapter of the high-flying, high-octane sci-fi action, far-flung future story.
I love that you can compare the grayscale with the color.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Some of the dialogue is different too. Color.
There you go.
So there's a
unique. This is your last chance to get this, folks, over on Fun My Comic.
Yeah, because once I start,
great looking campaign.
Thank you. And once I start the next one next year, this one will be gone. This one will be gone. So I got to get out of here, guys. So
and it's available now.
Right.
I got mine very quickly, within a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This one ships right away.
Yep.
Yeah. And thank you all for watching now and later. All 55 people watching. Thank you very much.
Oh wow.
Awesome. And Tom, thank you especially for taking the time.
Have me on, guys.
America.
It's
America.
You're quite a character, and I always love hearing you talk.
Well, it's kind of you to say.
So everyone, let's wrap it up with the video.
Wrap it up.
I'm taking too long here.
Ooh, God, that's just so aggravating. I mean,
Okay, here we go. Have a good Saturday, everybody.
See you
Have
guys.
a happy face.